What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve, and my co-host Chris183 is getting some coffee, so he is going to be a few minutes late. But I'm going to kick this off tonight by myself because I am so excited. The theme for this month is Steve Picks March, which basically means Wingman Steve gets to pick every album every week, no matter what the genre is, and we're going to deep dive it. We're going to talk about it. Now, since we started the show over 5 years ago, I have been talking up and down about Ludo. I feel like they're a band that is freaking awesome that more people should know about. But the thing is, they're not really pop punk, and we haven't really had like the opportunity to deep dive and talk about it. So now that I've been given the reins on what we are going to discuss, I am choosing Ludo. I am choosing an album called You're Awful, I Love You. And if you haven't heard it, hit pause right now. Go listen to it and then come back to it. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our patron members, Jason, Tom, Punkish Dad, Sam, Nick, and Ashley. Thank you. And we have a very, very, very special guest here tonight. I'll give him a little bit of an intro. So he's the owner of more than 216 local businesses across the Quad County shelf. He's the executive co-scribe for the Skatchenash Valley Chamber of Commerce for the past 6 years. He's an all-around fun guy. He's a fellow podcaster with his new show, Small Business. Please welcome Mr. Mike Landlot.
Hello,
Mike. This is super cool. Thanks for joining.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I was surprised pleasantly when you reached out, and I'm thrilled to be here.
How did I do on your introduction? Did I miss anything? You're a man of many talents.
You freaking nailed it, buddy. You just, straight up, you hit a triple at least.
Very good. Well, here's the thing. I've been listening to your new podcast every week. Me and my daughter actually listen to it. She won't let me listen to it. Like I drive her to school, which is only about 10 minutes. And then she makes me pause it. So I can't listen to it without her. So if you would just indulge me and her, because I'm going to have her listen back. Her name is Lily. Can you just give Lily a quick shout out?
Yo, Lily, Mike Landlot coming at you from Wisconsin side. Hey, girl, how's it hanging? Are you kicking it? Yeah, I'm just kicking it here with your dad. We're doing it. You're a number one stunner, Lily for life, Mike Landlot.
She's gonna remember that for life. Actually, she's a bit of a Ludo fan herself. We'll get into some of that as we get into it. But I had mentioned that I'm a big Ludo fan, and I'll get into some details. But you have some association with Ludo. I'm not sure if you're a super fan. Give me a little bit of background on what you think of these guys. I know you were part of the last live show they did at Halloween, but have you been a fan for years? Did you find out about them recently? What's your guys' deal?
Yeah, no, I found out about the guys about in the mid-aughts. They were playing this fair up, I think it was Wausau. I don't know. It was a county fair type deal, and I went by and saw them. It was kind of a weird crowd, but they had all this energy, and they were just they were playing all the songs, and I was like, well, this is not necessarily my normal thing, but gosh, they had so much energy. They played a song, Fantasy Unicorn. And, I'm looking out over just a bunch of Wisconsinites, just like talking about the going to see the pig races and butter sculptures and deep fried Oreos. And they're just listening to Fantasy Unicorn rock. So I thought, whatever. Fast forward, I was listening to a lot of it. I heard, I used to listen to their song "Love Me Dead" on the radio there, and I ended up doing some sponsorship opportunities with them through a mutual friend of ours in Wisconsin, and their tour manager actually, I ended up getting to do a bunch of ads for them, and got all wrapped up in their Halloween show this past year. And it just, it was a bit of a harrowing experience, but I did end up on stage, performing live with them. And that was, kind of a highlight of my life, which is what kickstarted my whole, performance thing. It's why I started the podcast, why I've started going out performing live, and just trying to try my hand at show business. The only sort of stumbling block I've found in general is that I don't have any discernible talent in any particular thing, but I love performing in general. So here we are.
Well, small business is definitely a talent. And unfortunately, I missed you at Halloween because it's a 3-night event, and I was there for Friday night. I believe I saw on the interwebs that you were there, I think, Sunday. So I didn't see it live, but I did see some of your ads. And I don't know if they were meant to come across as funny, but they definitely came across as entertaining from the audience, not expecting that at all.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is, you sort of start out trying to you make something serious, do it the right way, and then it starts getting popular. People like it, and you realize they're kind of laughing. And so you sort of retrospectively decide, oh yeah, it's the comedy, right? And I just sort of found that if I put out, what I think is good, people are gonna laugh at me, and it's gonna be funny.
Laugh with you.
No, it's kind of an at with, and I'm good with that because it's getting the message out, and people are having fun. So yeah, I kind of go into this serious space knowing that everyone's gonna be laughing.
That's also very, very self-aware. And let me go back a half a step. You had said that you enjoyed seeing Ludo when you saw them live. Is there like a genre of music? Our podcast is Pop Punk Dads, right? Is there a genre of music that you would say like Mike Landlot's go to? Like you get into the car and you got your CD visor. What's going in there? What's getting slid in?
I mean, for the longest time, I would pretend it was White Snake, stuff like that, but it's not. It's a lot of 80s soft rock, sort of a more adult contemporary of the mid 80s to mid 90s. Big Starship fan, big Bob Seger fan.
Built This City?
Yeah, Built This City. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah. Bob Seger. We got Like a Rock got played out on those Chevy ads, but I really like We Got Tonight. But get me talking about Whitney Houston, or any of those divas from that time, and I'm all about it. But I like a little bit of everything, and everybody says that. I like everything except country and rap or whatever they say. But for me, I really do like everything. It's just cool. Play it for me. I some of the stuff is a little too aggressive. If it's like, I'll let it eat your spine, I start, and it's just like, at a certain point, I'm like, oh, this is good, but I also start having a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like everybody. I like everything. So,
And are you, do you know a whole lot of pop punk music? Is that in your wheelhouse?
Sure. There's a Blink 182. There's Green Day. There's the All American, the All Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I try to remember. It's not the Nickelback is a different thing. That's like the new cock. That's like the opposite, right? As far as rock goes, you've got pop punk, and then you've got Chad Ralphs on the other side. But
little butt rock.
Yeah, butt rock. That's another term for it. The rock where they take themselves very seriously. This is very serious. But no, but then I did like some of that ska music from the 90s, the Real Big Fish,
Mm-hmm.
Less Than Jake. Let's see. What are? Could you name some other pop punk bands? I'll tell you if I.
Well, I would say some of the bigger ones, you mentioned Blink-182 and Green Day. You got your Yellow Cards and your Newfound Glories and your Good Charlottes and your Sum 41s.
I heard of them. Yeah.
Chris just joined us. Who did I miss?
You missed the Gin Blossoms.
No, that's Whoosh Rock. That's not. Come on, I love it. I love it, but it's Wuss Rock. Hootie and the Sad Fish. Hi, Chris.
Hi. How
How's
are
it going?
you? Good.
I'm
Good
good.
to be here.
So, Chris, just to catch you up, I just did a quick, album introduce, and Mike was talking a little bit about how he was first introduced to Ludo and saw them at a fair in Wisconsin. And I kind of wanted to wait for you before I got into a couple of the more deep things. But I did want to start off and ask you, I've been talking about this band for a long time, and I'm like, Chris, come to St. Louis and Chicago with me, see Ludo. And I don't know if you ever listened to them, but I know that you did for tonight. So do you have what was your first impression?
I hate to give it away, but
Underwhelmed.
that's actually not true. I'll tell you what, I was blown away. And
really?
Yes.
Whelmed. I had it backwards. Okay.
I was whelmed. I was, yes. I'll tell you what, I'm very stingy when it comes to new stuff that I had never really listened to before. Steve will tell you that. And it really takes a very special kind of sound and melody to hook me right away. It seems like Ludo has that, and I don't really know how to put it. And I tried my best to articulate it in what I'm going to say tonight about these songs, but there's just something about the melodies that these songs carry and the way that they're delivered from a lyrical standpoint that I couldn't get away from even the first time through. And a lot of times it takes a couple times to get into an album. So I was super surprised, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, Steve, there's your answer.
Well, let me take a weight off your mind. I'm going to be as verbose as I've ever been on this freaking show, and I'm going to have a lot to say. So if you feel like you have a little less, don't worry about it. We will, Mike and I can pick up the slack. I did want to just say that picking this album, all right, Steve picks, I picked You're Awful, I Love You. Picking this album, though, was very, very difficult for me because Ludo has basically 3 albums, an EP, and a handful of other singles, right? But picking this, like, which album do I pick? I'm introducing Chris to Ludo. I'm trying to introduce our audience to Ludo. Which one do I pick? We have their debut record, self-titled, which has my 2 favorite Ludo songs on it: Good Will Hunting by Yourself and Hum Along. Those are my favorite Ludo songs. I didn't pick that one. This one, You're Awful, I Love You. This one has arguably the biggest hit. And I went with this one. But there's a rock opera EP called The Broken Bride, which has this whole concept to it that I could literally spend 2 hours. And when I first found out Ludo, I went down this fucking rabbit hole and spent a whole lot of time figuring this out. And it is mind blowing. And people have written theatrical plays about Broken Bride, which are on the internet. You can find them. And at one point there was going to be a book, a novel written about it. But anyways, could have picked that one. And then their final album, which is Prepare the Preparations. That one actually is, Chris, I would think, like, you like Halloween-y stuff. You like scary stuff, out of the box stuff. And on top of that, it has my wedding song. I got married. My wedding song was a song called Anything for You. We did like a choreographed dance to it. I sent it to Andrew Volpe and he responded back like, that's really neat. Cool. And so I didn't know which one to pick, but I went with this one because like we did American Hi-Fi last week, if you knew American Hi-Fi, you know Flavor of the Week. If you have heard of a Ludo song on the radio, you've heard Love Me Dead. So that's how I got to this one. But I just wanted everybody to know that it was tough. And we're going to share this I'm part of a few Ludo Facebook groups. So we're going to have some experts probably listen and dissect what we're saying, but that's okay. But I just wanted to say why I picked this one. And it was really hard. Like, I could have just done Steve Picks March and done all Ludo albums, but we'll keep it to this one episode.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Mike, if you haven't noticed, when Steve is really into something, he shows it. If you haven't noticed how excited he is.
It's contagious. I feel like I want to go start a band or something. It's just inspiring. I love it. Taking a bath in it over here.
Take your bath. All right, some quick stats on the album, and then so Ludo as a band, they're from St. Louis, Missouri. I had mentioned they do mostly every year. They have an event called Halloween. It's usually 3 nights where they come together at Halloween time. This album, You're Awful, I Love You, came out February 26th in 2008. It got to number 166 on the Billboard 200. It was number 5 on the Billboard Heat Seekers charts. It was put out on Island Records, so it's a major label debut for these guys. It was produced by Matt Wallace, who also worked with Faith No More, OAR, Train, and Maroon 5. That's just a few of them off the Wikipedia. And holds a special place in my heart. Do you hear any of those bands, Chris, in Ludo by any chance?
Somewhat, yeah. Yeah, I could say so. I mean, look, I hear a lot of different things when I listen to Ludo. Some things kind of stand out more than others, and not necessarily St. Louis bands or anything like that, but just other influences that I have no idea whether they're influences or not. So I guess we'll find out.
Had you heard the, if you don't mind me asking, Chris, had you heard the Love Me Dead song of theirs before you heard the album?
No, I had not. This is all brand new.
Chris likes to say that the radio in Pittsburgh is different than the radio in other places, but I remember. I was going to wait till we actually got into the song, but the way that I actually found Ludo was very, very random, and it was very strike of fate. I literally, for some reason, around, must have been 2008, 2009, their song Love Me Dead was playing on Philadelphia's alternative radio station, 104.5. It was like a dedicated alt station, and I heard it, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I can't remember any other time in my like post-college life where I was just like, I want to listen to something new. And I literally had like 2 or 3 bands that I was like going to buy their album. And for some reason, because of that song, I think Modest Mouse was another one. I'm glad I didn't do that one. But for some reason, I bought this album, and then I started spinning it. And then again, it was just black hole sucked in and didn't stop since. But it was very random how I first came about this band.
But this album was the first thing you heard.
Yes. I heard Love Me Dead on the radio. I bought this album. After that, I went back and bought the self-titled one, the Broken Bride EP, and then when I was a fan, that's when the last one, Prepare Your Preparations, came out. Prepare the Preparations.
So how did this album? I know we usually talk about it at the end, but how did this album compare to some of the others? If you could just give high level, I mean, I kind of want to know.
Man, I find it very hard, very, very hard to compare. I kind of look at Ludo, since they've been around for a bit, and when they do their live shows, it's crazy how a band does this. Anytime you see these guys live, there's basically no song from the discography that like there's no way they're going to play that. Like they will throw in songs that may be obscure or not ones that you think they're going to play, like all the time. And every set list is different. Like, yeah, there are some staples. Like there's a handful somebody in the Facebook group made a spreadsheet of like how often each song is played, and there's a couple that haven't been played for a while, and there's different like eras of Ludo that people have created. Anyways, it is, Chris, it's very hard for me to say how it compares. I look at it kind of as a body of work. Is that me cowarding out of your question?
I guess what I'm trying to find out is, because this album has an overarching theme to it. Like there is a theme, there's a sound. Do the other albums carry that sound, or do they go in different directions? And is it still Ludo, but just a little bit different? Or is it basically the same feeling you're getting, just with different songs, different music?
I think it evolves over time. I would say maybe, in my opinion, the first album would skew a little bit more towards like the pop punk, right? Pop punk alternative. This one is a very mixed. We're going to get into it. There's a lot of ballads, a lot of slower songs, but they have those like, you know, harder, like those rock songs. And then again, on the next one, it turns into, there's so many different things. Again, they add in this dark stuff, this horror stuff, lovey stuff. It's all there. And then on the EP, I mean, there's one song that's basically a metal song. The Lamb and the Dragon it's basically a metal song. So you don't know what you're gonna get. You gotta listen.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you what, the only other observation I'll give here is that I think that I'm missing out by not seeing Ludo live. I can imagine them doing some of these songs live that I heard on this album. And yes, I know it's probably a mix. It's not just this album that they play when they play live shows, but, and you just kind of touched on that, but I definitely like want to hear some of these songs live to kind of
You're
be
invited. I take my annual pilgrimage to St. Louis. So as long as they do it this year, I'll give you the invite.
Yeah, I think it's a public event.
Yeah.
Usually anyone's allowed to go if they buy a ticket. So
yeah, and there's a VIP. I've done this VIP acoustic sing along thing, which is super fun. But I would love for you to come. And here's the thing:
I've never been to St. Louis, though. I've never been there.
I don't do anything in St. Louis.
You know what? I'll be honest. St. Louis, it's kind of like Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
vibally speaking, it's a similar vibe. I mean, you go there and there's not all the hills and everything. But it's a similar sort of hey, don't forget about us kind of vibe, which I like.
Okay, I could deal with that, Steve. I could do that.
We can do a High School Never Ends, trip. I'm down. And so the last thing I'll say just about when I mentioned that kind of all the songs are on the table when they do a live show, I wanted to make a quick comparison because I was thinking about it. One of the bands that I like, Chris, I love the Starting Line, right? The Starting Line has almost an identical catalog as Ludo. They have 3 full-length albums, they have 1 EP, and then they have a handful of other extra songs and B-sides and stuff like that. And I see the Starting Line almost every year, but every single time that I see the Starting Line, I pretty much know what the set list is going to be. Like, it's usually all the same. Maybe there's 1 or 2 things that's different. And every time I go to Halloween, I am just... Sometimes it's like the song that you really want to hear doesn't get played on the night you're there, and you're like, dang it, I missed it. But they play it the next night or the next night because it's a 3-night event. So it just kind of leaves you, it makes that live experience even better, like truly not knowing. And they have so many different songs that are like the set openers, right? Sometimes it's Go Get a Greg, and sometimes it's like Pontchartrain, and sometimes it's Broken Bride. You've no idea what they're gonna do. And there's costumes and sets and all right. Anyways, we should talk about this album because
do you wear a costume?
I usually wear something. So at Halloween, there are a lot of people that are fully dressed up. I for the last couple times I've gone, I'm solo. It's just me. I fly in, I see the show, I stay overnight, I go home. So I will dress in something relatively Halloween-y. Like I wore a Newfound Glory Halloween shirt one year, and then this past year, my wife made me a Halloween shirt, unofficial.
Wow.
Yeah, on her machine that she does. And when I met the guys, we took a picture. I apologized that it was unlicensed merch, and I offered to give them a few pennies if I didn't make any money off the shirt. But anyways, but yes, there are people that are full decked out. I would say 50% of the people
in like full costume, just like full blown dinosaurs and stuff like that. Is that what you're saying?
Everything that you could think of. Yes. Full blown dinosaurs. There was I think it was last year. It was a dude in actually, I don't know if it was a dude. There was a person in a Deadpool costume. There's people in Spider-Man costumes. There, Ludo, sometimes there are like different themes for the different days. So Dracula's usually a theme. Like there's everything. It's a Halloween. Go ahead.
Somebody legitimately went as Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox's Teen Wolf, dressed in the basketball uniform and everything, full on wolf guy, basketball guy. It was fully committed. They had the facial hair. It was nuts.
That's amazing.
They dress up like wow.
That's really cool. I mean, we should do that. We should do that again. If no one does it this year, we should do the Teen Wolf. But then you could be that other guy, Steve. That
Styles.
yes, you could be Styles.
Can I be Boof?
You could.
I was kind of thinking I could be Danny LaRusso and you could be Johnny Lawrence after our discussion last week.
Maybe. Although you look like Hugh Jackman if you just shave like the little beard and mustache and leave the sides.
When my hair gets growed out a little bit, it gets puffy. I do look a little Wolverine-y. Yeah, I've seen people as Wolverine too, and I'm telling you, people make like friendship bracelets and they make cards they hand out. It's like
they're real crafty. They're super crafty. They all are so talented. They make so much cool stuff. They show up and they're just passing it out to each other, and then there's sort of this Comic-Con adjacent sort of vibe going on there. It's real cool.
Mike, what's a guy of your interests, just coming from your perspective, what's a good Halloween costume in your mind?
Oh gosh. I mean, anything referential to 1980s movies would be great with me. I feel like there's about 3 categories when it comes to Halloween costumes. There's either you're a villain, you're a hero, or you're a victim. Right? So you got people dressed, oh, look, I'm scary. I'm Freddy Krueger. I'm a murder guy. Look at me. Or you got oh no, I was killed. Look at me. I have a knife in my throat. Look at all the blood. And then there's like, oh, I'm Batman. Look, where's the girl kind of thing. And I think everything kind of funnels down to that. And I think as long as you pick something in there that speaks to you, you're good. I mean, are you asking for yourself personally?
Yes.
All right. Well, we can talk about it offline.
We should. Yeah. I need some ideas. So,
all right. I can hook you up.
Okay.
All right, guys. Let's get. Unless there's anything before we want to get in the album, Mike. Anything else you want to say about this? Past experiences or overall feelings, or should we get in song by song?
I generally just want to say again, thank you so much. This is fun.
Awesome, Chris. Anything by you?
Let's go. Okay.
Well. The first song is "Love Me Dead," and I think Chris, would you like to kick this off? This is like the big song. I feel like you should kick it off.
Get it, Chris.
Yeah. So right away, I was sucked into the sound. We'll put it that way. I think that just hitting you right in the face is a cross between a couple different bands that you think about, maybe a cross between Panic at the Disco and Say Anything, but still different than that. You come out with something that's still super unique, and a lot of that has to do with the music itself. This song, and I think this is just this is going to be an overarching theme throughout the entire album, is carried by a really, really strong melody. It's just a trend, right? It's a trend that I see throughout the entire album. And this one's all about just a really awesome music presence that it's almost like lounge-like in theme. And I really thought that was cool, right? But it's not just lounge music. It's that sound kind of souped up with a really cool synth, just interjection and some amazing guitar work that kind of just layers on top of that. At the end of the day, like, this is an excellent starting point for this album. I'm not going to use the phrase sets the tone, because I think they do so many different things on this album. They go in so many different directions that it doesn't set the tone, but it gives you a really cool starting point that piques your interest and really gets you interested on what they're going to do next. So I'm in right away. Steve?
Let's go to Mike. Mike, what do you think about Love Me Dead?
Okay.
Oh, I love it. I was a big fan from the first time I heard it. It's kind of an earworm. To me, the first thing that sprung to mind when I heard it was that song from The Grinch. The old, you're a mean guy, Mr. Grinch, just kind of like kind of thing. It had this sort of like, mischievous vibe, which I really liked. But then it kind of also feels, so it's kind of a little bit like playful in that way, but then there's some sort of underlying thing that's also a little sexy, kind of like burlesque Grinch, I guess is what I would say, as sort of a starting vibe. That's kind of the soup I'd say that the song is built in, and that's a fun place to hang out. It's certainly strange. So I like this one, and the lyrics. Andrew Valapi's singing about just all these outrageous things that at first what you're your vomit. What are you talking about? But no, it's it's one of those things where you're like, well, wait a minute, that should make this a joke song, but then you're like, but it's a real song and I like it. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
That's the thing that they do, is that they throw those crazy lyrics and they make you think, could it be a joke or is it real? And actually, I think I'll have some more about that later. But to me, I mean, right as the song that got me into Ludo, like the intro, little guitar, dun, 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 it just gets you super, super excited. As you said, Mike, the lyrics in the song are just insane. Kill me romantically, fill my soul with vomit, then ask me for a piece of gum. Let's not forget, probably the one that sticks out most to anybody that hears it is, you suck so passionately, you're a parasitic, psycho, filthy creature, finger banging my heart, which is quite the interesting, and well, the next line is hideous and sexy. I guess that could describe those lines there themselves. And then just the like, pardon my big word, but the juxtaposition of "you're awful, I love you" is fantastic. Just that realization of I don't know how to say it any other way. He said it. The chorus again has this like floaty feel to it. She moves through the moon with these whoa-whoas in the background. Chris, you're not always a huge fan of the whoa-whoas, but they're kind of subdued, so they probably don't stand out too much. And then it culminates with this shouted, "Love me dead." As the song goes on, lots of other cool things. There's, in the beginning, obviously there's snaps, there's grunts that add like the humanity to it, whoa. There's also a killer guitar solo after the second chorus.
Oh, yeah.
Killer. And then there's this part that, again, when you see it live, or even when you're listening to it on a record, the bop, bop, ba, da, 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 is just like this thing that just like begs you to do it along with them, right? Bop, bop, ba, da, da, da. You can't. I'm in the car with my wife, my daughter, and the song is on, and they're in the middle of a conversation. And I'm like, bop, bop, bop. They're like, why aren't you listening to me? And I'm like, bop, bop, ba, da, da, da is on. So anyways, first song that got me into this band, it's probably a good thing that they put the single in the number one track, because they're giving you what you may know, and then let's see what happens later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Chris, I said I was going to be like verbose.
You definitely held up, but that's okay. It's a lot of good stuff, and it's one thing you said about the "you're awful," the "you're awful" line. It's something that "you're awful,
Titular.
I love you." It's yes, it's titular, but it's definitely something that I've heard like throughout life. Like, people have just said that, right? I've heard it, but obviously I've never heard it in a song until now. So it's pretty cool that that's kind of that was integrated into some music here. So good stuff.
All right, I've been in many a drunken lament, so I'll start this one off. Number 2 is called Drunken Lament. Very cool little drum intro to start. I feel like this one has a little bit of like a darker vibe with these deep bass tones in it. It's got a good chorus. I mean, truly, when you listen to it, like it is like a drunken lament of the loved one that the protagonist is, he's missing. I love when he says drunk since Saturday, because it doesn't matter what day it is, but if you're saying I've been drunk since Saturday, that implies that it's been quite a long time. There are quite a few like uptakes in the tempo. There are parts where bobbing and choking and losing the fight in the fog, and then in the bridge when it really picks it up, you were the mermaid for me. That bridge, if it is the bridge, is super powerful. You were the mermaid for me till one day you found your feet, leaving me in this god awful model of heartache and grief. That just, I don't know, it makes me like want to tear up or whatever. Yeah, That's all I got. This was a good one. I'll throw it over to you, Mike.
This one, I don't know. It's good. It makes me feel bad, but I guess that's the point. It definitely, I feel a bit like I'm drowning when I listen to it, because it does sort of have like that nautical feel, but it just, the emotions just, I don't know. It hits a little too close to home. Just get that breakup feeling, but there's not like any insights really. It's just kind of like you're stuck there. And it just, I guess that's the best way I could describe it. It just feels kind of like you're drowning. And then when it gets to that part where it goes donka 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 or whatever, it gets all fast in the bridge part. It's frenetic, and it feels like angry. And so, there's really no place to hang your hat if you want to have a smile in this one, which is good. That's, art should do that. I appreciate it. I don't love spending time there, which is probably the point. So, good job, Ludo. I don't.
If it's nautical, that's when the boat starts rocking. That part.
Yeah. It's not a good thing. You don't want boats to rock that much, but yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's just I wouldn't be listening to this one over and over, lest I cry.
You know what they say when the boat starts rocking, right?
Watch out for krakens.
Yeah.
Right?
Steve, you talked about tearing up. You definitely would tear up if I had poured rum in your eyes. So, I mean, I've never had that happen to me, but you just don't probably do that, because then it would burn.
Absolutely, it would.
That's a really good point.
I had to point that out because I'm all about safety, Mike. I really think that that's important, and you have to be careful. So maybe wear some kind of protective glasses if you're going to do that. But speaking of the song itself, I just can't get enough of this chorus. It just sounds so good. There's just something about it that this just catches me. Maybe it's just the way that a certain line is sung. Man, it's amazing. So it just continues on that same trend of just that strong melody that I can't get away from, and so it continues here. I will say that this song seems a little bit shorter than maybe some of the other ones on the album, and that's a good or a bad thing. I feel like I wanted a little bit more, but it was perfect. So it's weird how that kind of worked out for me. It is a little bit more of a shift to a more traditional song versus the first one, but that's kind of okay too. I mean, look, I love the dichotomy between the two songs and just the difference in the way that they're approached. But this song is not maybe that traditional if you really think about it, because it still has some cool tempo shifts. It has some surprise instruments that hit you when you're least expecting it, and it all kind of weaves together and sounds great. So I was into this one 1,000%.
I'm really pleased, Chris.
That made me think of the surprise thing, the woohoo that they do in this.
Yes,
that jumps out at me. I did not expect that. I like hearing you talk about the melody. It sounds like Chris. It sounds like you kind of see the melody here as kind of your Sherpa through the album. Which
it is.
It's cool. That's a cool idea.
It is, because there's so many other albums that we talk about where I can't connect. I just there has to be something about the melody that connects my brain to it, and I just can't get into it. As much as Steve loves it, as much as Steve talks about how great it is, I can't agree with him. But if the melody's there and it connects with me, then I'm on board, and I feel like this is one of those albums. So we can move on to the next song if you guys are ready.
Please do. Mike, you haven't started one off for us. Do you want to kick off the song, please?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, please. Yeah, so this one is more of a love song. It's kind of ballady. It's kind of this sweet tinkling. I'm not good at this, guys. It's this soft sort of like tinkling type guitar sound. And it's just sort of somebody singing about how they want to stay with the person they love, but they got to go. Time to go. And then and this is maybe a theme. I'm just coming to me now that the chorus is kind of this big open, which is it opens up and it's more, it's less kind of tense because the verses are kind of, and then it kind of opens up big on the chorus with the big ringing and stuff. I don't know. It kind of reminded me. The chorus kind of reminded me of a band called Switchfoot. I don't know if you heard of them. A Christian band that kind of was on the radio. That chorus kind of reminds me of Switchfoot, which I know one of their songs.
Which song do they sing? Was that wasn't Dare You to Move? Didn't I talk about that the other day?
Yeah. Well, that's basically the idea. That's probably it.
Okay.
Was that Switchfoot? Dare You to Move?
I can't.
It's a song like that. It's one of those
butt rocky songs.
I think you're thinking of Chevelle, Steve.
Christian adjacent. I'm gonna look up Switchfoot song here.
I know what it is, and I can't think of it.
Meant to Live.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, we were meant to live for so much more. I got it.
Yeah, and then Dare You to Move.
That's the one I was talking about last week from I think American Hi-Fi.
But I think that first song that he said is the more popular one. It's the one that everybody knows. The one you said I'd never heard of before. It's like when
I'm making that connection. I'm not sure if other people are hearing that here.
It's like when you brought up the Blessed Union of Souls, and you said that hey, what was it? Hey Hemingway or something?
Hey Leonardo.
Yeah, that's not their best song. It's the other one that's the song everybody knows.
I believe.
Yes.
Love is the answer.
She likes me for me. No, it's that one.
No, not in this universe.
I'm with Chris on this one.
I guess I'm the minority in this threesome here. I'll go next on this song, please. From the very beginning, the guitars, the soft vocals, the tempo, it just feels like you're building towards something, and then boom, like this big ass chorus kicks in. Another one of these with just a ton of emotion in Andrew's vocals. I think it's Volpe. I don't know if it's Volpe. We'd have to do a fact check on that. But the vibe that I got on it, like it just seems like a missing song. Missing someone. While you're gone, trying to hold on to that same feeling for like when you return. That's what I got out of it. Everybody interprets a little different. Very cool, like vocal and guitar effects on the bridge. And I like how they do this a lot throughout the album, and where they kind of like a bookend thing. They change things around. It'll kind of go like fast, slow, like it'll be more apparent later when I talk about it. But I think this one fits very well here. I like Please.
Yeah. I think you guys said most of it here. A lot of my notes are what you said already. I think that Mikey talked about the calm versus the louder chorus, the bigger choruses, and I really thought that was one of my favorite parts. But I'll tell you what, like the other thing that maybe wasn't mentioned, and maybe it was, but I'll just call it out again if it was, is the fact that the tone of this one's a little bit different. It's, to me, like it felt more of the sound was more looming, more foreboding, somewhat ominous. I really like that. It kind of reminded me of almost like, and you said Switchfoot, but like the feeling of the verse almost gave me like an Incubus type of vibe, like that sort of song. And I'm a big fan of that band too. So I love that. I love the way it sounds, regardless of who you feel like it sounds like. I think it brings the tone to a different level, and I think it was a step in another step in the right direction for this album. So I was on board with Please. What do we got next, Steve? Why don't you kick this next one off?
Topeka, that's a town in Kansas, I think. And it's funny, when my daughter was young, we used to I used to play a song for her before she would go to bed. And out of nowhere one day, she's like, "Play that song, Kakalika Murder." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Kakalika Murder." And I'm like, "What?" And then my wife is like, "Catalytic Converter." And I'm like, "Oh my God, how did I not realize that?" And then this became one of our bedtime songs. So this song was actually written by Tim Farrell, who's the lead guitarist. And this is one where I say to myself, how the hell did they come up with this concept? I found God in a catalytic converter in Topeka on a Monday night. I only know what a catalytic converter is because one of my buddies from high school, he either like removed it from his car to make it sound louder, or somebody stole it and he didn't put a new one in to make his Honda Civic like do that like that thing. So to come up just with this concept is mind blowing. The song itself is just a beautiful, weird ballad. There's really cool synth parts. I can't say that I really understand what it's about. I mean, self-reflection, maybe. But the repeated lines are just so fun to sing. And every single time it comes on, I just find myself singing the entire thing on repeat. So I don't know what is all into it. Maybe you guys have other interpretations.
Go ahead, Mike.
I love singing along to it. It just feels good. I mean, although I'm not as mystified, I guess, or like wondering about sort of what the inspiration is on this one. It seems pretty self-evident. I'm assuming Tim Farrell had some sort of epiphany in Topeka on a Monday night with a catalytic converter having to do with God. So it's got to take it literally. But, that doesn't ruin it for me. I can plug in, imagining sort of whatever my own experiences have been. But it's just good. It's very honest, genuine introspection, I'd say. And I don't know, it's good to sing along with.
Maybe what happened, I think I have an idea. What maybe could have happened here is maybe he was in Topeka on a Monday night, and he was working on a car somehow or some way, and or there was a car nearby with the hood up, I don't know, and he accidentally tripped and maybe bumped his head on something that stunned him for a second, but made him like see things in a much different way, and so he found God in that moment that he bumped his head real hard, but it also made him bite his tongue, so he tasted the blood. And so every time he thinks of that summer Monday night in Topeka, he tastes the blood and he remembers that he found God because he bumped his head real hard. I'm not saying he got a concussion, but maybe it was somewhere close to that. Maybe that's what happened.
I'll buy that. I thought you were going to go a flux capacitor direction there, like a Doc Brown hit his head and came up with the idea for time travels. But it's a similar thing.
That could have been it. I like that too.
Time travels on a different Ludo song.
No, I'll tell you what. The only other thing that I'll add here is I'm a big fan. I'm a sucker for synth, and I love the incorporation of some really good synth and some really good keyboard into a song. And I think in this album, Ludo does a good job with that, and they are able to put just the right amount into the songs to really just add another layer. Make the song a little bit more rich than it already is, and this song does a great job with that. I think that was the standout for me on this one, was just that additional layer of sound that just made the song so much better. I love the weirdness of the lyrics. I mean, obviously it's super specific with what he's calling out here. I do feel like if you're going to go to Topeka, it feels like Monday night would be a good time to be there. I don't know why. I just feel like that's a good night to be in Topeka. Like that's peak.
Because you probably want to spend your Saturday somewhere else.
Maybe, but maybe Steve, when we do go to St. Louis, we get a car and we drive to Topeka and we find out.
I don't know how far that is, but I'm up for a little road trip. We can figure that out.
About 6 hours.
6 hours. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll stop halfway through, 3 hours. We'll stop at a Buc-ee's. We'll get a sandwich, and then we'll go the rest of the way.
Yeah, Westboro Baptist Church is there, so you could stop by there while you're in Topeka.
Perfect.
I only go to Landlot Christian Ministries. I don't go to any other churches. Sorry.
Love it.
Chris, just one other point on the synth, which you pointed out. So Tim Convey is the guy who plays the synth, and if you follow him on any of the things, he's like a radio host in St. Louis. He's a comedian. He's like really good friends with Nikki Glazer. Like Nikki Glazer, who I love, is she's connected. She's like cool with Ludo. It'd be cool to see if she ever like opened for them, or I don't know. She probably has been to their shows. But he's like got his own like really cool stuff going on. He performs on his own separately. So find Tim Convey, and there's more good content
He's
Ludo
got a
adjacent.
podcast. He's got a podcast called The Consumers.
Oh, he does? I didn't know about that.
With some other comedians. Yeah, it's real good. They just review different brands each week, and they're funny about it. It's good. It's good stuff.
I got to check that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else you got to check out, Steve?
Chris, you see my shirt? Did you see it?
I do see it.
Tell the people what it says.
I Lake Pontchartrain. I don't know.
Lake Pontchartrain is the name of the.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
So where is Lake Pontchartrain at? Do we know?
I have Google mapped it before, but I don't remember. It's Midwest. Mike, do you know?
No. It's Louisiana. It's just
Louisiana.
North of New Orleans. It's basically the thing that drowned New Orleans with Katrina. It's this horribly huge lake with this giant causeway, like the largest, bridge sort of situation in the country. It's just this massive lake that's I don't know that it's very spooky, but the song is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good. 55 Louisiana.
It says it right here. Yeah. The Po' Boys, the crawfish. It's all right here, Steve. There's your answer.
It's true. Mike,
that was a quiz. I quizzed you.
I was just too concentrating on showing off my Lake Pontchartrain shirt.
I like it.
It's not a geography show, guys. We're good.
That's true. Mike, you want to kick off Lake Pontchartrain? This is one of their big songs. Again, sometimes it kicks off their show. It's played. I think it almost every. I would think it's basically every show.
Yeah, I love this one. It's just this high energy kind of spooky dooky kind of story about these guys who go down and they the guys get swallowed by the lake, and the singer is like, I don't know what happened to him, and you don't even know at the end, did he kill him, or was this true about a lake monster? We don't know. But no, it just feels like one of those spooky, mischievous kind of ska songs from the 1990s, kind of, but with more energy, I'd say, and zero horns. But except for the chorus, which feels like kind of like a weird chant thing, like chant music, like the Gregorian monk kind of thing. I don't know. That feels a little weird. I don't know how to describe it, but I really like this one. It's high energy. It's fun, and at the concerts, people just sing it. They just sing so loud, and they're just, I love it. Yeah.
Scott Without Horns is my favorite, so there you go. I love it.
Ludo actually added some horns recently. They did a cover of Dead Man's Party, so maybe in the future there could be some crossover. Maybe it would have horns. We'll see.
True.
Tell you what, Mike, you took a lot of the words out of my mouth. These guys are telling stories, and I love every second of it. This is part of the reason why, I just kind of fell in love with this album and stuff like this. This music, the music in this song creates an atmosphere of urgency, of suspense, and it just ties it all. It keeps you going the whole time. It's such a great song in that way. It's theatrical in nature, through and through. And not only that, but I love a dropout in the verse that goes into, it just transitions into the chorus. I know it's only one moment of the song, but I love that so much. So this song does it all for me. It tells a story. It keeps me entertained the entire time, and it sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So again, this is one where I wish I was just in the room when the band, when this was brought to the band the first time. Hey guys, I got this idea for a song. I'm gonna tell this story about how some friends eat some bad crawfish and get sucked into an evil lake in Louisiana. And everyone's just like, yeah, that sounds fucking great. This is a storytelling song. There's the lyrics are spit out very fast. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of specific locations and names of hotels and stuff like that. There's a lot to take in. You don't have to absorb it all. But again, Ludo has all these little things in there where if you really want to eat the carrot, you can fall down the rabbit hole. That Moog synth sound in the background, fantastic. And the way that they literally make you visualize the song as it's happening. There's no official music video for this, but they have a lot of background stuff at the concert that allude to the different things that are happening. And they just do such a great job of making you see what they're singing. I mean, the funniest line is, "I was driving out of there as fast as a Camry could." I would say half of Americans probably had a Camry at some point
because it's not very fast, right?
It's not. That's why
not
it's funny,
all, right?
And there's some lessons here. Just order the chicken, guys. Don't order the crawfish. The guy who ordered the chicken was the smart one, and so toward the end of this song, one of the best parts, I think, to me, is like the realization that you find out that the song is a guy who's telling about what happened to his friends that are now gone. So he's telling the cops why his friends disappeared. So just picture him in like an interrogation room telling this bonkers story about how the radio was calling them a Lake Pontchartrain, and then the road got flooded, and then they called them under the lake and it sucked them in. And picture like you're in the room with the cops and you're seeing the protagonist, and the cops, like, what's in the cop's head? Like, either like probably like, this guy's fucked. Like, this guy's going to jail because they probably think that he murdered his friends, but he's like, no, this is what happened. It really happened. And then my brain goes to the next level, and I'm like, this is as much things that I've watched, these like true crime mini series. Like, this could be turned into like an HBO drama series, or Max, whatever it is, because you could spend several episodes building up like the precursor to the trip. Why did Darius and Nolan and me take the trip? Then they're on the trip and they run into all these different things, right? And then obviously the bigger part of the season is when they run into this lake, and maybe you see some of the things that happen in the lake. But then at the end of season 1, right, he's sitting there in the interrogation room, and he's telling his story. And then it's like, where does season 2 go? So is season 2, the cops were in on it, and the cops are like part of this Lake Pontchartrain like conspiracy? Or could he have really murdered his friends and he's crazy, like those movies where at the end the person was a split personality, or they were really a murderer? So I'm just like, I feel like this story is such a great story, and it could be like so much. Yeah, out of like a 4-minute song, I don't know if everybody else gets all that out of it, but my mind just started spinning.
I don't know if you know this. I just found out the last time I was at the concert, they got one of their new songs is actually a sequel or a prequel to this one. It's called "Hey Friends."
Hey Friends, yeah,
yeah. So it's there's more of the story there, I guess. If I don't know the lyrics, but yeah, I think
that one is. I got to tell you, I went to there's a sing along right before the Halloween, and it's acoustic. And I was amazed because the song "Hey Friends," Chris, is a lot of lyrics, a lot of really fast lyrics. And I'm like old now, so I used to like pick up lyrics really well, and now I kind of just pick up choruses and little bits. And I'm sitting there, and it was a brand new song, and they played it, and I felt like a dummy because I didn't know like every single lyric, and it seemed like every single person around me knew all of the lyrics. But yeah, that's season 3, Mike. That's season 3.
I'd say they could, some of these songs, they could use a lyrical editor. Just someone to trim it down a little bit. It's just kind of, some of it gets a little bit promiscuous, I guess, in terms of verbosity. Anyhow, I Chris must be itching to move on. Let's shoot the boot.
Excellent. Okay. Well, no, well put. And such as it ends, ladies and gentlemen, it's not ending yet. This is not the last song. This is the next song. And I will say once again, this song is immediately an engaging song because I love that heavy bass centric verse. I think that, and if it's not bass, it's something that's there that just gives that boom, boom, boom sound. And I like that a lot. It's the chorus is in comparison a little bit more of a layered chorus musically. So, it's a nice change up there. And then you sprinkle in some sounds, some different sounds. Maybe, again, you're talking about the Moog, maybe some horns. I don't know if it's horns or not, but it maybe sounds like it could be. It's a very sweet melody. It has that driving bridge towards the end, too, that I kind of like a lot. And it has a crescendo high note that kind of just sends it off. It builds to that high note towards like the latter part of the song. Thought that was a nice crescendo for the whole thing. So a really nice feel good track through and through. That's kind of what I got out of this one. What about you guys?
I'm gonna go next here. The thing that does it for me in this song is the beep beep boop boops. And I will admit that I took this song and I made it into my ringtone. This is a great ringtone. Like I don't use ringtones anymore, but back in the day when ringtones were cool, I, got the file and beep beep boop 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 boop. Like that was my ringtone. And so this song is forever ingrained in me, just that part. I can't necessarily tell if it's a sweet song or a sad one, but I know that it makes me feel good. And I'm going to take a little pause here and check in with the internets because I wanted to find out what other people think about this song. So I'm going to read a couple of comments that I found and see, Chris, Mike, if you have any idea. So one person says that they're convinced the song was inspired by Indiana Jones. It's from Marion Ravenwood's point of view, and it takes place before and during Raiders of the Lost Ark. That means the narrator is a female and the subject is male. So verse 1 talks about how he left her to go searching through deserts and caves. This is when Indy left Marion to go search for important artifacts, and she pined for him. They were in love when he left. The second verse talks about him gathering figures in the clay, which can refer to buried artifacts or clay artifacts. It says that he can't save them all, as in that belongs to a museum, in a museum. The last one is when Indy returns to Marion in Raiders. He looks so tired because it's referring to the part where they're escaping on the boat, where it doesn't hurt scene. So they say this is crazy, but think about it. Another person says they think it has something to do with someone in a troubled relationship who hadn't been showing how much their relationship meant to them, whereas the other person was trying desperately to keep things together. The one who hadn't been trying suddenly realized that they needed to begin helping to keep them together. Telling the other person that they're thankful for what they've done, but now it was their turn to make things better. And because they were trying, they would stay together. And the last just said, I think it's about a couple that's been having problems. One person was trying to make it work and the other wasn't, but now he is. He's saying that they'll make it through now and they both want to make it work and they love this song. So I'm going to take a pause and see if any of that stuff makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean, the lyrics are kind of open enough. Less, I feel like the lyrics in this one are less pokey than some of the other ones, where it's kind of like, I don't know, what's it about? What do you think it's about? How do you feel? Which I think is how most people like their songs in general. So it's open to that. I'm open to kind of any of those interpretations for this one.
What do you guys think about the Indiana Jones theory? You're both Indiana Jones people, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it makes the song more interesting to me. I love it.
I see it. Even though Raiders of the Lost Ark was the one of the three that I watched the least of the three. I watched the second one the most growing up. I'll just admit it. But
you're in
I
trouble.
See that. I knew it. I knew I was going to be, but So it was Temple of Doom was my favorite because I watched it the most, and then Last Crusade was number 2, Raiders was 1. I just didn't have a connection to it, but I did watch it, of course, and I do see the parallels, so I'm gonna go with that.
Right.
Well, going back to the song, to me, just the harmonies in the chorus are just incredible. The bridge is just so passionate. And there's another great guitar solo in this one. And then I'll stop. I read too much from the internet to keep going.
Cool.
I could take it or leave it on this one. Just being honest, don't love it.
I don't know that I've heard this one all that much live. I have to go back and check the set lists to see. But it's one that they throw in. Again, you never know what they're going to throw in.
Yeah, it just feels, I mean, compared to the other ones, just feels a little bit like a lukewarm appetizer. I don't know.
It's like an album track, if you will.
Yeah, like, we'll put this here. That was just placeholder. It's still there. I don't know. I'm not trying. Look, not trying to dog anybody. Just, I don't feel much listening to it.
All right, you want to keep it rolling with Mutiny Below? Unless, Mike, you've been doing ads in your podcast to practice for getting, for getting advertisers. I don't know. Do you have, like, since this is halfway through, do you have like an ad off the back of your head that you want to practice here on our show to get more exposure?
Sure. Hey, hey, it's time to get out there and have some adventure. But you're thirsty. What are you gonna do before you hit those hills with your skis and your snowboard? Well, you can't do like you used to. You're getting older. Diet Mountain Dew is there for you. You can still kick it real extreme style, except without any calories. We've just replaced it with aspartame, which is fine. It's fine. You'll be fine. Look at you go. You're next game's star. You're wow, all the chicks, all the snow bunnies are just so amazed by how good you are at this skiing thing. I really can't believe this isn't a Juicy Fruit ad. You're risking your life just to get some air, bro. Cool, but it's also diet, so you're gonna go home and fold laundry. Diet Mountain Dew. Can't think of a reason why not. What do you think?
Dude, that was awesome. Diet Mountain Dew is not a sponsor, but just in case they want to be, we will partner with Mike Landlot to do the spot.
I just because I was drinking one, I thought, I don't know.
Oh, Chris has one too.
Oh, hey, bro, DMD for life.
This is zero though, so it's not the same, but it's
slightly
similar.
Different.
Yes,
different types of aspartame.
Yes, yes.
All right, Mike, why don't you kick us off on Mutiny Below?
Sure. Mutiny Below. I do like this one. It kind of feels a little bit like this is strange to say. It's like that Kelly Clarkson song, Since You've Gone, Since You Left. It kind of has that feel, except with a little more of a sort of masculine anger or angst, I'd say. I kind of, it's one of those things where I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, this could be like a one of those songs, but it's a rock band doing it. I just think it's got a real strong melody, which, Chris could weigh in on, but I like this one. It's kind of, I don't want to go back to you, baby, but there's, I can't control myself because there's this, it's like one of those in English class, and when you're in high school and the English teacher starts telling you about how all the Shakespeare stuff is about like sexual things and just sort of metaphors, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're talking about this at school. It's kind of like that, because I think the Mutiny Below is supposed to be kind of for lack of a more appropriate word, a horniness thing.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. And I wish I had this song when it came out. That's all I got to say, because this is, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that experienced this. Obviously, Ludo wrote this song, so this is fairly commonplace for people to be engrossed or involved in these kind of situations where you're with somebody and then you're like, it ends, and you're either happy it ends or you're on the receiving end of it ending, and you finally get to the point where it's like, okay, I can move on. And then all of a sudden you get a phone call. In 2007, you don't get a text message, maybe?
Maybe
no.
You do.
I mean, you have to click 3 times, for that.
Yeah.
But then you end up falling back into whatever it is that you were before, because you get that phone call or the text message or the instant messenger on AOL, and you don't care.
You up?
Yes.
You up?
The one. You up?
You up? Oh yeah, you up?
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight?
Yeah. Something stupid, probably.
But it's crazy that this I mean, I can relate to this. I'm sure Steve can. Maybe not. I don't want to make inferences, but dude, like I love this song. I just think it hits home in so many ways. And I mean, beyond the lyrics of the music, like I just love this one. So, and I love the keyboard. So I'll throw that out again. Like the keyboard in this song really stuck out as well. So, Steve, what did you think?
Yeah, the guitar and the synth intro, fantastic. Honestly, after the last song, like I kind of miss the beep boops. Like maybe they could have leaned in and done more beep boops, but then maybe that would have just like been like their thing and it would have been played out. I don't know. But I hear the song especially in the first verse, and I'm like, they could have thrown some beep boops in there. It's a very strong song. The guy's moved on, and then she comes back after everything that he's gone through. Mike, you mentioned the Real Big Fish. They have this song called "Where Have You Been?" It's like, if you love me, you love me again. Well, if you love me, where have you been? And then then she comes back, and that one line. It slows down, but you're here now. You're making eyes. I'm breaking. Like I just like feel for this dude. And of course he caves. Men be weak. You slip inside. We'll work it out tomorrow. Kick it off.
I always feel like, sorry to interrupt. I always sort of picture that feeling. The best way I could describe it, of like oh God, I really shouldn't, but I'm kind of gonna do it. I always picture in Return of the Jedi how they're sliding down into the Sarlacc's mouth in the desert. That's kind of what it is. Oh God, I'm going back. I'm going in there. The tentacles pulling me in. That's what it's like.
Well, it's your brain telling you that, I'm not going to do this. I'm over this. I can't do this. I should not do this. But then, she's there and shit, men be weak. In terms of the song, honestly, not one specific thing to point out, but this song to me is really a full band collaboration. Like everything is just working together without one specific thing like lighting the way. Again, other than some of those lyrics that really stick out and the overall sentiment of this song, it's really good. Mutiny Below.
Cool.
All right, so we're at a point now where we're gonna have a little up and down on the album with the next three songs, right? We have two kind of soft, acoustic songs with like a rocker in between, and no spoilers or anything like that. But
yeah, I feel like this is the part after Mutiny Below when the guy gets in the mic and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna slow it down a little bit, guys. We're gonna, slow it down."
There's quite often that time during the set, and it's usually a fairly long set where there are several acoustic songs in a row. So Streetlights is one of those that would fall into that if they're doing that evening. I don't have too many notes, so I'll let you guys talk, but, kind of just an ode to sundown mixed with a love song. What'd you guys take out of this one?
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I think this one kind of, it feels, I don't know, it kind of feels like a little bit folksy, a little bit maybe like Tom Petty-ish sort of, only in just the feel of like a summer field kind of thing where the sun's gone down and you just have these young emotions. But no, I really like all the acoustical stuff happening. It kind of feels like, I don't know, almost like there's that Norah Jones video where she's like with a bunch of Muppets in a swamp kind of thing. And it's sort of like, and it kind of feels like, what is that ride at the Splash Mountain with all the Brer Rabbit and everything, where it's just like a bunch of rural animals hanging out, being sort of like, we're here in this pasture. It feels like that to me. I know that's kind of I'm trying to get at something here and it's not coming out right, but it just has this sort of down home but super subtle, calm feeling about it, with the sort of summer night cicadas, this quiet, but there's all this sort of wide emotion building in the background, this sort of wild night coming on, that, it never comes out in the song real loud, but I kind of feel like you can feel it in your own full throat, like as remembering what it was like to be young and in love when the sun went down in the summertime. That was one sentence. So,
are there cicadas in Wisconsin?
Oh yeah,
they are.
Okay. Yeah, we're swimming in them, big time.
I think we need more songs about full throats and rural animals. I think it's important that more people take that cue. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's super important. But I'm not a romantic person per se. Like I'm not necessarily someone that falls for the slow down song. I like the speed up song. I like the harder sounding stuff. So generally, Steve and Mike, I stray away from these types of songs, but this one makes me feel a certain way, and I don't know why. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel comfortable.
You do love
I
summer.
I put it. I think that's what it is. I think it kind of takes me there, and that might be why. I get so sick and tired of 30-degree weather and rain and snow that anytime that I can get a just a glimpse of what summer feels like, even if it's in a song, I run towards it. So maybe that's what this is, but it is a great song. It's a great tune. It's vocally driven with just the right amount of accompaniment that accentuates, the vocally driven nature of the song itself. Yes, it's a little sappy, but I don't care because it brings out my softer side, Steve. And I don't think you see that very often.
No,
but
it
it's
doesn't come
there.
out. You keep that
Yeah.
shielded.
But this song does it. It even has that almost it's not quite, but almost like a yacht rocky kettle drum to it. That and again, maybe I'm just hearing instruments, but it sounds great regardless. So it's a really good beach song, summer song, however you want to put it. But it makes me want to rethink the life decision to maybe not be as a romantic of a person. So this puts me to crossroads. It's that powerful.
You gonna play this for you and your wife on a date night or something?
No, probably not. But maybe.
Maybe. All right.
That door's open. I heard it. A little crack.
Potentially.
I would maybe not play the next song on a date night specifically. Chris, why don't
Why?
go ahead. You go ahead with go. It's funny. We talked about flavor of the week last week, and you kind of had an opposite opinion. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Greg, the main character here from Go Getter Greg.
Well, look, I mean, I think the first thing that came to my brain was I need to learn the words to this song. I need to be able to sing this when it comes on.
Like a
I
we
can't
didn't
do
start
it
the
today.
fire thing. Like you gotta know it.
Absolutely. Like, oh, you know the words of this? Really? Oh, that's cool. Like, I want to know the words of this song so I can sing it. So I will. I will do that. I've dedicated time every single day to learn this song, and I will because I think the lyrics are great. It makes you so engaged in the song itself, and it's just amazing how these story type songs, how amazing Ludo is at putting these types of songs together. And this is just another one of them that kind of fits the bill right there. So I just think, anytime that they do a song like this, I'm in, and it's right up my alley. I love it. And yeah, I get what you're saying, Steve. The theme of it is not necessarily one that, is the best for
I mean, it's
a
somewhat
romantic
romantic.
night out, but I mean, the guy's going after a girl. He's going after a girl, and he's saying, what he's saying, but I guess she's lucky to potentially be a girl that could date him. Is that kind of the long and short of it? But because again, I don't know the words yet, but I get the theme. So look, I mean, that's just the way he feels, right? And you can't take away his feelings. And you can't say he's wrong for feeling that way. He's a human being too. He's allowed to feel these things. Are you saying that you're better than him by saying that he's wrong by thinking that?
Whoa, 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 whoa. We don't need to throw around those accusations here. Nobody's better than anybody.
I'm asking you a question, a direct question, Steve.
Am I better than Greg from this song?
Yeah.
Can I respond to that?
Yes, please.
Yes, Steve, you are better than Greg.
Thank you.
We can just call. I don't mean to grab your podcast by the hoofs here, but this one hits a little close to home because first time I heard this song, I thought they were trying to be. I didn't realize it was Ludo. I thought they were trying to be cool, and I was like the verse, and I was thinking, wow, this guy is really creepy. What is he talking about? And then later on, someone was telling me about how it was just silly, and I realized we were sort of laughing along with it. But And then I realized that I have probably said most of the things that he said when I'm nervous trying to talk to a girl. Not anymore. I'm only talk to women now. But back in the day. But yeah, hit real close to home because he's just trying so darn hard, and he's just pulling out every stop, and you're just like, stop talking. I'm not a Hitch myself. I'm not a Don Juan, but I know you got to say less. And this guy will not shut up about cop dramas and whatever else under the sun. He's just trying so hard. I think he's got a good heart, but he's taking advice of you got to be a man and take charge. And oh God, it's just you want to pull him aside and just raise all American boys completely differently because he just needs some different kind of help. But yeah, no, I feel for him here. And it is something where I kind of think I would say at first that they would do with a lyrical editor who would say, why don't you trim some of that? There's a lot going on there. But then I sort of started to realize that's kind of the character. The character just shut up, Greg. Do yourself a favor, brah. What they say. So yeah, that's my thoughts. It's fun. It's funny. It's a fun song. I like it.
If you go back and watch, there is a video on YouTube for the song. And Mike, you said that you could relate to this character in a little bit. He does have a similar mustache. He has a similar mustache to you.
I know. Look, this has been brought up before. I feel like I've been told I look like the Greg. I'm not trying to be that, but I see the resemblance. I get it.
I think it's mostly in the mustache. I think that's it.
Agreed.
It's a unique stash.
You can't buy this.
Yeah, I mean, this is another funny storytelling song of a guy who's just a little overly ambitious when it comes to his new neighbor. I love the conversational, lyric delivery. I love how he's kind of speaking so fast from one thought to another, just trying anything he can to get this girl to pay attention to him. So, Mike, as you're saying, I've been in the situation where I don't know what to say. Am I saying too much? Am I saying too little? Probably you're saying too much. Say too little or say less. But there's definitely a point later on, and I would call it the bridge of the song, where you can see that the overly ambitious shifts to creep, right? The whole, I've given it some thought. You could use a guy like me in your life. I'll never leave you alone. And the way that Andrew says that line, he wants you to know that at the end of this, yes, it's a guy who's trying hard and maybe has good intentions, but also has some creep, and
I can, and sorry to jump in there, but I can hear his, twice divorced uncle sitting there drinking beers when he's a 14, when Greg is 14, saying, Greg, what you're going to want to do is when it comes to chicks, and he's failing with the women. And so he's trying to put that advice into motion. I think he's got a good heart, but it's just this gross sort of thing that dumb men teach young boys. When it's failing, you got to just take charge and tell her what's what. And so I still feel for him. Not as much as I feel for the young lady that I'm like, get away from her. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. But, packed into this whole thing is as it's written as somewhat of a, tongue-in-cheek storytelling song, there are just great lyrics. I know that you said that we could have a lyrical editor and cut some of these back, but I mean, some of these are just so good. Yeah, I haven't seen you at the pool since the barbecue. Not that I've been checking. And then they go into this, the real fast sing speak. Hey, I've got this thing for work this weekend, and I was wondering if you don't have anything going on. Then maybe okay, that's cool. You're busy, but we should hit up. He gets rejected on one, and then he just goes to the next thing. We should hit up Jose O'Flanagan's for Jello shots, and then that's a no. And then all of a sudden, you should come over tonight. We'll be watching cop dramas and smoking fatties. They build up the song as if he is just trying to be sweet, and then it's like, all right, he's creepy, and it takes you along this entire story. And again, the video is fun, and there's some twists and turns to it. But one thing, Chris, in terms of We Didn't Start the Fire, like I kind of pride myself that I do know all the lyrics to this song. And then when I was kind of like reviewing for our episode tonight, I noticed that there's one lyric in this song that I've been completely fucking up the entire time I've been a Ludo fan. I always thought it was I'm a go-getter guy with a gun in my hand, but it's with a gun on my hip. So I just like to call out my own hypocrisies when I screw things up. I know I did that last week in an episode too, but overall, if you learn the lyrics of this song, it will be fun when you sing along and when we go to Halloween, I promise.
I like that you said hipocrisy instead of handocracy.
Tied it.
Did you get that?
I don't have any kids, but I do dad jokes,
It's a pop punk dad podcast. Do you have any pets? Oh no, you said you don't have any pets.
Lost
You did
them in
a
a divorce.
You did a Petco commercial, I remember.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, my bad.
No, so I'm messing with you.
Why don't I give you a nice paper cut and pour lemon juice on it?
Hey, I love it. What's that, Billy Crystal or what's it from? Yeah, so
The
fun.
Princess Bride.
Yeah.
You're just like go-getter Greg, Steve. You know what I mean?
Oh, how dare you. Mike said I'm better than Greg, so.
He did.
It's a low bar.
Thank you.
Well, all right. I'm taking this next one. I'm starting this one off. I mean, just like Go-Getter Greg takes control, I'm going to take control here because this, ladies and gentlemen, is the song. This is the one. This has 2 stars and an arrow pointed towards it in my notes.
Wow. I don't know if any song has ever had that.
Yeah,
I've never heard of
guys,
2 stars and an arrow.
I think that's a Beck song.
This is great. Like this took me by surprise. You talk about like coming out of left field. Like, first of all, okay, so it's kind of like a whisper song by some kind of, whether it be a monster or some sort of serial killer or just a bad guy or whatever, a being, whatever. It's this amazing lyrical melody. The effects of the guitar and the mic effects fit perfectly into the motif of what they're trying to do here, like spooky. This is my favorite melody by far on the entire album. Like this is just perfect, especially that chorus. Each strum is super creepy, and I love it. Just the feeling I get from this song is I can't necessarily describe like how awesome it was. Even that little like Spanish sounding interlude with the mariachi type guitar, it was really awesome. So magnificent was the word that came to mind here for the style that went into building this one. And through, it's so unique, so fun. It gives you that spooky feeling. I would love this around obviously any time of the year, but Halloween time, this would be great too. Wow, what a great song.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, this is one that it really has grown on me. The first time I heard it, I kind of, look, guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit of a basic B in a lot of ways. And the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, TMI, what? Creepy deepy. But then I gave it more of a chance, and it started to really grow on me until it became one of my favorites. It kind of feels like this sort of Edgar Allan Poe type thing is what I picture throughout it. That sort of vibe. And these 2 lovers sort of playing on these like horror ideas of how much they love each other. I've never had feelings that strong. I would like to, but it just the idea of loving someone so much that you're trying all these crazy, violent, consensual things to try to connect to them more. The Marrow's mix kind of bone thing they're talking about. I don't know. It just gets it's really pretty in like a dark way. This was kind of my entree into that kind of romantical way of thinking of like, darkness is beautiful kind of thing. And I don't know. I really also like the sort of the tension. You feel all this tension in the verses again, kind of like in Please. But then it just opens up in the chorus, it just feels like release, you know. The that kind of that bridge part with the flamenco type Spanish guitar, whatever you said, Chris. To me, that sounds like I picture the gypsy people from the Dracula movie, kind of like gathering around the castle and stuff. That's sort of, I see like that movie kind of playing there. And then I really like that guitar in the chorus, the one that just rings. It reminds me of something. And I went Googling to figure it out. I lost the page, but it was that an 1980s song where they got the never surrender, chicka chicka. Like that's what it sounds like. That really sort of pretty guitar that just ringing. But yeah, I like sort of hanging out there, but I do have to tune out the words a little bit because it just kind of doesn't really line up with my heart feelings, you know. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's kind of maybe one of my favorites on the whole record.
Very cool. Well, that's the lesser known Corey Hart song, "Never Surrender." By the way, the alternate "Sunglasses at Night" song. So just
yeah, which I like. I like it better. I'm a romantic, you know.
I do too. I'm there with you.
Yeah, this is another one that's a slow one that's kind of a Skelly favorite. And when I think of this song, all I can picture is seeing it live, because honestly, it's a point in the show where it's just Andrew, the lead singer, in the middle of the stage with a spotlight on him, just him and the guitar, and you can almost hear the crowd singing the song louder than he is. It's mostly just vocals and acoustic guitar. The lyrics are very imaginative. Conceptually, you could think about it as, someone who's, so obsessed with their love that they become a killer. It could be about vampires. You don't know. It could just be metaphorical for how dark and twisted love can be. Whatever you think about it, it's just it's one of these songs that's like creepy and sexy at the same time, and very weird, and makes you kind of appreciate it. And I feel like this is one I've gone down rabbit holes. I've said this a few times on several Ludo songs. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole on this one. I really do like it, but I went down the rabbit hole real hard on the whole Broken Bride album, and their song Hum Along. I've just gotten obsessed with every line. Haven't gotten obsessed with every line, every lyric. Mike, you said sometimes you have to tune out some of the lyrics. Not so much like that, but it's when these guys do a slow jam like this, it I don't know, it just makes you think and it makes you feel. And again, the way that they track this, the way that it goes, you have Mutiny Below, Streetlights, Go Get Her Greg, Horror of Our Love, then Scream, Scream, Scream. You have this up and down feel that kind of keeps you on your toes throughout the album. Like, not every song is going to be the same thing one after another, and it makes it very complete. So we can move on to the next one.
I just had one note there. I forgot to say that I had a theory that the first verse is a werewolf, the second verse is the Dracula vampire, and the third verse is a ghost. I don't know.
I mean, all of those things definitely track. And, Ludo really does buy into, they really enjoy the horror, the supernatural stuff. They just came out with a song. One of their more recent songs is an Italian werewolf in St. Louis. And so, they buy into the Dracula stuff. And again, on the third album, we have songs about skeletons and cyborgs and robots and all these things. Like, the supernatural is very much in their play space. So that tracks, Mike.
That theory.
I like that.
All right.
You think the next song is a horror movie song because it's called Scream, 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 but it's not.
I thought so. I thought it was. Yeah. Fooled me.
Starring Matthew Lillard.
I heard in the new Scream they're bringing back what's his name? Dewey? What's it? David Arquette?
Oh yeah.
I thought he was supposed to be dead
in the second one.
I thought he was dead.
Well, that's a spoiler. I haven't seen past the second one, but Good to know.
I don't remember.
We're just giving spoilers, Steve. Is that what this is all about here?
The first Scream came out like over 20 years ago.
Yeah, isn't there a 20-year limit on spoilers?
There's a 25-year limit.
Statute of limitations, buddy. Mm-hmm. You're not there yet.
Sorry, everybody. Spoiler alerts.
Well, why don't you guys kick this one off?
Mike, you want to kick this off? Scream.
No, I do not.
You don't. Okay.
I vote you.
Honestly, my favorite part of this song is the fast talking lyrics. I like when it picks up the pace in those verses. The verses are a little subtle, but with another like really solid chorus. I think the last let me read my note here and see if it makes any sense. The last post-chorus outro with the harmonies is my favorite part. That's what I wrote. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Yes,
that thing. Yeah,
the harmonies, exactly. That one makes it really like tie in and make it bigger. I think that's all I had.
I feel like you said, my note says this: my favorite part is the lyrical speed up part prior to the chorus. That's my note.
That was it.
So thanks, Steve. No, I think it's a happy pop punk song. I'm still on the last song, so I mean, I don't dislike this one at all. I just really, really like the last one, and this one just kind of flowed along. So I mean, I don't have much more to say.
Yeah, I'd say all I got on this, it just kind of makes me sad listening to it. I don't know. It just kind of sounds like painful. Like, I mean, it's good, but it's kind of like, oh gosh, like when someone starts telling you a story about a kid that got killed or something, it's just, oh God, oh. And I don't know what it is, but it just sounds so mournful in the beginning. And then there's that little thing where it speeds up, like you guys are talking about, where it's like, oh, okay. But then it just sounds sad, and the bridge just sounds sad, and in a good way, but it's also like, how many Holocaust movies do you want to see kind of thing? It just feels sad, and I don't even know what it's singing about. I just get that feeling, listen to it. It's interesting that you were saying it's just like fun pop punk, because outside of that thing before the chorus, it just feels full of sadness to me. I don't know. Maybe I was just real sad when I listened to it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, now that you say that and I'm reading the lyrics more in depth here, maybe, there's something wrong with me by saying that. I don't know, but that's how I took it the first time through. So I don't know. Maybe you're right about me, Steve. Maybe there is something wrong with me.
That's possible. All right.
To be fair, you're also on song 11 here. So you might have had a little bit of brain fatigue at this point in terms of actually feeling all of the stuff. Maybe give it a second listen so you can realize that you probably don't want to listen to it too much because it's too sad.
Fair enough.
Well, even if you have fatigue by song 11, I think at song 12, I have absolutely no fatigue at all. I would say that this ends the album on a super high note. I love the concept that this dude is up in space, just dreaming about home. The lyrics here are just very, very clever. The pre-chorus and the chorus may be the best on the album. For some reason, when he talks about just me in a little pod and all I've got's this little window, like contrasting the space with the terrible endness. I don't know. It just gets me. I had my wife is a graphic designer, and I had her make an image, which I turned to like a mouse pad, and I combined a couple of my favorite Ludo songs. So it's like, it's the space from In Space, and there's a pterodactyl, and there's a manta ray, and there's cherries, and all these little Ludo things. But this one was just always really, really strong, especially the section. I don't know if it's the bridge. I hope this message finds you and you don't feel so alone, even if I never make it home. He hits that high note at the end of that. There's in the kind of towards the end, the harmonies, the picked up pace in that final chorus are just fucking awesome. And I love, at the end, he kind of turns it back around and mentions like, if I was back home, this is what I would be doing on Earth, is I would be dreaming of like being up in space, talking about different planets, moon rocks, solar winds, all the musical effects are just on point. The drums, I haven't talked too much about the drums, but the drums are on point in the song. I think this is a classic, like, last track on an album. This is fantastic.
I'd agree. I mean, I think Matt Palermo, their drummer, is just so good. Yeah, and so I think it's good that we talk about him a little bit. Yeah, and the drums are just huge on this song. It's a great high note, like you say, to end the record. I mean, it's literally 62 miles straight up high note because it's in space. But yeah, I love that idea of like you're pining for something back home. But at the same time, when he does mention the idea of, oh, if I was at home, I'd be dreaming of the stars. I just sort of like, well, what do you want, buddy? I get it. I was thinking you're just a romantic who misses your love back at home, and like the wonders of the universe don't compare to her. But then you're like, well, if I were home, I'd be dreaming of the stars. I'm like, oh, maybe you're just a jerk. Grass is greener kind of thing. Other places vacuumier kind of thing. But yeah, overall, this one's big, fun, kind of, it just feels like a big anthem type thing. So I like it. I picture kind of re-entry from the movie Gravity. It's just this intensive sort of everything shaking and turning red hot. And so, yeah, I like this one. It's a good song. Good job, Ludo.
Good job, for sure. I wonder if you guys can see my vision of potentially this being Go-Getter Greg in space, and this is what he sees, and this is what he's talking about. Or maybe it's the vampire Dracula from a couple songs ago that was caught and sent in a spaceship up to space, and now he's telling you, obviously, he was pining for something back here, but now he's in space and he can't get to her anymore, or he or she, whatever, right? And he's telling us what he's seeing. Either way, I think it's a great song too. It's very big. It's a very big song to end the album. It's a nice send off, like you guys said, and all of the things, the guitar, all that awesome stuff. It just it puts a nice little bow on this awesome album.
All right, well, we did it. That was your awful I Love You.
Yes, we did. We got through the entire thing, and we had a lot to say. Hopefully you guys listened and you had some of your own opinions. We'd love to hear them eventually too. But for right now, this is the part in the show where we go to ranking it. And Mike, this is where you rank your top 3 favorite songs on the album from 3 to 1 in order. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. And let's see, Mike, you're our guest. So do you want to kick things off?
I would love to. I will be the traditional lady here going first. I would say I did not prepare adequately for this, but I will on the fly tell you my definite answer and not stall at all. The answer is obviously that my third favorite song of all the songs on the record, You're Awful, I Love You, by Ludo, is going to have to be Love Me Dad, obviously, followed by The Horror of Our Love, followed by Lake Pontchartrain, is what I wrote down in advance. So, yeah.
I think that's a great top 3, and that's so weird because I feel like I'm going to be similar, but not really. But here we go. So I'm going to go next, Steve, and in order from 3, 2, 1, I'm going to go with Drunken Lament as my number 3 because of all the things that I said before about that one. Number 2 is definitely Lake Pontchartrain, not just because now I know how to pronounce it, because I love that song for sure. And then number 1 is The Horror of Our Love, by far.
I guess that just leaves me then.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
I was writing down everybody's answers. I like to, as a co-scribe, Mike, you understand.
I was thinking the same thing.
You got to secretary this thing up. Yeah, I had a little problem here with my top 3, and then I had a difficult time choosing the number 3 song, and I don't really know what to pick, so I'm just gonna split it and give 2 songs number 3. Chris, is that allowed?
Yes.
All right. So number 3, I'm split between 2 of the real big songs, Go Get a Greg and Lake Pontchartrain. Again, the upbeat storytelling songs. I I couldn't figure out which one edged out the other one. But number 2 is my ringtone song, Such As It Ends. I love that song. And listen, as much as I love Me Dead, the best song on this album to me is In Space. It's the final song. It's super big, and it just makes me feel all the feels. So In Space gets my number 1.
Steve, I'm way downtown. Did not see that coming.
I didn't have any of the same ones as either of you guys. All different.
I think that's because we're casual fans and you're real intense.
Yeah, and so In Space is one of those ones that doesn't get played at like every single show. So I've seen it played, but then, it's hard when you go see a show and you don't want to like bitch that you like didn't see a particular song. You have to just enjoy what you see. And sure. I've seen it, and it's great. It's fantastic.
And I do feel like if you ask me 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 6 months from now, maybe my list is different. There are so many good songs in here. So maybe we come back to this album again in 6 months and we see if things have changed. And I'll be curious to see what my top 3 are at that point in time. It's a good thing you wrote that down, Steve.
I did. I have. I'm the executive co-scribe of High School Never Ends, a pop punk podcast. Mike, I'm not sure how much Ludo you've listened to. And I kind of gave my thoughts earlier in the episode, but I guess I'll just ask you, how do you think this album compares to the rest of Ludo's discography? And if you haven't listened to it all, that's okay. I'm just kind of curious what you think.
I did. I did listen to all their albums leading up to this. I'd say, man, I don't know. So the first one, it's got some of my favorite songs on it, Hum Along, and Hello, My Name Is Your TV, and Good Will Hunting, a couple others. But then it's also got so it has some songs that hit very high on my list, but then it's got some other ones that are more forgettable. Broken Bride, the EP, the time travel rock opera thing is just... it's so singularly weird and different, and I don't really know. It just feels like a separate category completely. And then this one, it feels like, I wouldn't say it's all killer, no filler, but there's a lot of killers here, and not really much filler. That said, on their fourth release, prepare it. They've got, I feel like there's some of the weirdest songs that go the craziest, most fun places. So I don't know. This one to me feels mostly like a good sort of introduction where you're not going to really offend anybody. You're probably have the best chance, the most surface area for stickiness, I guess, is what I'll say, with the least risk. But then I think there's some wonderful gems in the other ones, but kind of my thoughts.
Oh, I think you said it exactly as I was thinking it, but much more succinctly. It would be very difficult for me to actually do a rank in it in terms of like my favorite Ludo albums, because the thing is, I have such an appreciation for that Broken Bride EP, but at the end of the day, it's only 5 or 6 songs, and it is, kind of singular in nature, telling one story, but it's also very creative in the terms of the story that it's telling. And like you said, I said earlier, the first album does have several of my favorite overall Ludo songs, and the last one has songs that stand out, and it is a little bit more eclectic and different. So I think all I'll say is, if you're listening to this podcast, just listen to all of it. Just listen to all of it. Go down a rabbit hole. Take 2 weeks of your life. Dedicate it to Ludo. Meet me in St. Louis around Halloween time with Chris this time and Mike Landlot, and we'll have these discussions in person.
But don't neglect any of your responsibilities. Just in general, don't drop the ball as like a family member, a community member. Just a PSA. Just
No, that's
for that 2 weeks. Listen to Ludo, sure, but don't not pay your bills. That's not out there.
That's a good point. Again, going down the rabbit hole, sometimes you can get taken away. And Mike, thank you so much for giving us so much of your time this evening.
Thank you.
You have a lot going on with your 216 local businesses. I want to give you this opportunity to let people out there know where to follow you, your podcast, your businesses, anything that you want them to take a look at. Please let them know.
Yeah, so you can find me on most social platforms at Why Not Landlot, WHYNOTLANDLOT. I'm very often on Twitter, talking to just other business leaders, just trying to get them to answer my tweets, finding cool articles. You can talk to me on there. I'm on Facebook, just with boomers hanging out. At Why Not Landlot. My YouTube is at Why Not Landlot. I got a bunch of my old commercials up there in addition to the podcast. And I have an Instagram that I haven't really done anything with. It's at Why Not Landlot. And then finally, look, I'm lonely in general. So I just please reach out, say hi, talk to me, let me know what you think. Please check out my podcast, Small Business with Mike Landlot. We talk about business and life and things big and small. Just if you have trouble finding it, it is unfortunately misspelled, but can't do anything about that now. It's actually spelled small busness, but it's business, small business. Check out my podcast. Let me know what you think. If you like it, please rate and review. If you don't. Keep it to yourself.
And Mike, is there any chance that we're going to see, are you going to be back at Halloween if it happens this year? It's not announced yet. Usually it's a little later in the year.
I'd love to. We'll see what it holds, what the future holds. But it didn't really go great for me last year. There were some interesting setbacks. I would love to. As a fan, not so much as a business sponsor ever again.
Yeah, it was striking. And if you want to live through that journey, all of those videos are up on YouTube under Mike Landlot's channel.
Yep.
Awesome. Mike, it's been a pleasure meeting you, and even more of a pleasure talking to you this evening about music, about small businesses, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it was great getting to meet you, Chris. I didn't know what to expect coming on here, but you guys have been great. Steve, you're just a wonderful sort of, I don't know that I'd call you a wingman today because you're holding down the anchor there. I understand that it's your month and you're just kicking it. You're like the NCAA of pop punk dad's high school never ending. And Chris just coming in with the big opinions. I love it. I don't know. I just love what you guys are doing. I don't want you to stop. I'll be honest. I didn't check out your podcast in advance. I have no idea kind of what you guys are doing here or what any of this is all about. If anyone's ever even heard this podcast or if we're just talking to ourselves, I'm cool either way because I'm having a great time. You guys look great. You sound great. And, bless your hearts.
Well, thank you again. And hopefully you guys out there listening are also having a great time and had a great time this evening with us. If you really like the show, we'd love to hear about it. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review and write us a review. Let us know what you thought. And also, never a bad time to go check out our shop and check out all the cool things we have. Everything from mugs to maybe, do we have that jean jacket yet, Steve? I don't know. But if you want the link to get to that shop, it's simply put www.hsnepod.com. That's www.hsnepod.com.
Yes, that's right. We are on all the socials at HSNE Pod, like High School Never Ends Pod. We have a Discord channel, so you can pop in. And Mike, if you want to join, you can talk about small business and see if some of our folks want to talk small business with you. Anybody out there who is trying to get into Ludo, you can follow them on Instagram, which is at Ludo Band. And please follow Mike Landlot and Small Business or Small Busness, whatever you want to call it. It's a really fun show. Again, I listen with my daughter every single week. And if you want to hear some behind the scenes stuff and some bonus features, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/HSNEpod. Mike, last thing, one more time, thank you so much. If you're at Halloween this year, I will stop and shake your hand and say hello and give you a high five in person. Really appreciate your time this evening. We are going to be back next week with an all new episode. I will be picking that album, and it will be something totally, totally different than anything we have ever discussed before. No spoiler alerts. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
Hey, thanks for listening to Dragon Wagon Radio. If you're enjoying this show, check out DragonWagonShop.com and get yourself some sweet merch while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. That's DragonWagonShop.com.
It's Dragon Wagon.